Hey guys, welcome to Singled Out Saturday. I am Christina Armstrong and this is Singled Out. If you don't know what Singled Out is, it is a place that was created out of many failed relationships. In all actuality, it was a place that was created out of failed attempts to help God with said relationships. This is a place where I like to educate, empower, and equip singles on how to be singles God's way, and how to walk through your single season with purpose. Today, we're going to be discussing the 3 type of men to avoid. Yes, there may be a lot of different other types, but these are just the types that I've encountered. So I'm going to let you into how I felt, my thoughts, and we're just going to dive in, and hopefully you will take this information and apply it so that you don't make my mistakes. So guy number 1, and I'm not doing this in any order, it's just how I'm going to flow. But guy number 1 was the guy who was unavailable. And I did not think he was unavailable because he came at a time in my life where I was low. And so he came in and looked like Superman. And I did not see any of his flaws. I didn't see that he, had unresolved issues with parental figures. I didn't see that he had unresolved issues with hurt. And not even just unresolved, I didn't see the anger that he had from those past relationships until I began to get more involved with him. And so what it looked like for me to deal with somebody who was unemotionally involved or emotionally uninvolved was I would go through moments where if I had to have difficult conversations, he would lock himself in a room and not talk. Or if I had to, if I disagreed or if things didn't go his way, then it was a problem, and it was, his manhood would be challenged, and it was just very heavy. And I didn't realize that until having some solitude and being alone by myself and being able to see things a little bit clearly. So that's the that's the guy that's unavailable emotionally. We always try to fix people, and that's not our job. That's not my job to fix you. It's Jesus' job to fix you. We always try to beat people over the head with what we want them to do, and that's not how you handle someone who is emotionally unavailable. How you handle them is they are not worthy to be in a relationship with you until they are available emotionally. Usually some people that are emotionally unavailable, sex is the only thing that you can offer that suffices the relationship, and that does not last long. That gets old real quick. So that is how I felt. That is what I dealt with. And, a lot of times I felt depleted. I felt drained. I felt like I was going hard in the paint, and my effort was not being matched. And that's usually an indicator that you're dealing with somebody who is not available emotionally. I would suggest spending time with God and allowing you, especially if you're the woman, allowing you to be highlighted to the man that God has for you. It's been really tough to relinquish my wants and my desires. But I'm learning that God knows me better than anybody, and that he always surpasses my expectations. So I'm resting in that, and I hope you can too. Guy number 2, he is what we call Mr. Controlling. And this was somebody I dated early in my years. And I wouldn't even say date. We went back and forth, but I used to laugh when he would call me and cuss me out. Or if I was going somewhere, I would make fights just to get him to kind of go tit for tat. And it felt good at that time. And I was like, oh my God, he cares. Oh my God, da, da, da. But then you have to kind of step back. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people do know. My mother was in a domestic abusive relationship for 12 plus years. So sitting there and watching that, you would think I would know better than to entertain false threats. And I probably did, which is probably why the relationship didn't go far. But being in a place where I was allowing myself to be spoken to like I was a child, and not even like a child, because I wouldn't even speak to a child like that, but being in a place when I was dealing with somebody who just would demean me or curse at me. And even though they were like, oh, you better not go to that part, you better not wear that, that's still controlling. You don't control me. And so I had to step away from that and realize, even though it was entertaining and it was fun and it was risky and it was, oh my God, I can change him, and that's not the place where I needed to be, because in the end, that's how you end up in relationships that are filled with domestic violence, that are filled with mental abuse, that are filled with physical abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse. And so thank God I learned to walk away, and I was able to backtrack and not take that all the way. So if you are in a relationship where you were feeling like you were trapped, if you're in a relationship where you were being beat, if you are in a relationship where you were being verbally abused, where you are being mentally abused, financially abused, there are options for you. You can DM me and we will get you the help that you need. There are resources out there. If you are in a situation where you feel trapped, do not stay. Your life is so much more than that relationship. So that was man number 2. I probably should have saved that for last because that kind of got deep, but that's man number 2. Man number 3 that you want to avoid is I don't really have a term for him, just crazy. I don't really know. But again, this is coming from my experience. I dated a crazy guy. And when I say crazy, I mean crazy. Like running down the street butt naked, get arrested, went to, crazy. I'm embarrassed to even tell you the story, but I pride myself on being authentic and giving you guys the real. Crazy. Brother was crazy. And then he blamed it on some lace weed. It was bad. But thank God I did not stay in that relationship. And that was the one relationship I tried to make. That was going to be my husband. That was the third guy that I was going to make my husband, because I had a promise. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to watch episode 1 of the Singled Out series, because that is the testimony that will explain it all. But this one guy, I really wish I had a different term to describe him, but crazy is the only thing that ever pops up in my mind. He was the guy that when I told he was going to be my husband, he ran with it, and we were going to do it. We were going to get married. And even though we'd known each other less than a year, so I guess I was crazy too, but I wasn't running down the street butt naked, so I'm a little less crazy. But just crazy. Just there are some red flags that they don't need to be, like, nobody should have to tell you that that's a red flag. So yeah, guy number 3 is just a crazy guy. Just avoid crazy, avoid drama, avoid people with unresolved issues with the past. Just crazy. So that was today's episode of Singled Out. I hope you enjoy it. If you have questions, concerns, please send me a message. If you have not subscribed to the page, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to the page. You don't want to miss a video. You don't want to miss the things that are coming up. We're going to be doing some interviews. And one of these days we'll be doing a Q&A. So I love you guys. I hope you are staying safe during this time. I'm praying for you and your families and your relationships. I'm praying for your single season to be a blessed and prosperous time. I cannot wait to hear how this has helped you. Love you.